you're listening to It Came From the Radio, you know this is Jennifer Lee Feldman, aka L-Man, aka Dr. Feldy. I am here with filmmaker Aaron Murtagh, and he created a very amusing, interesting, somewhat relatable, even though I don't have a child, oddly enough. It's a film called Man Baby. Now, hello, welcome, and could you tell this audience what this film is all about? We'll get right into it.
Hi, Jen. Thanks for having me. Man Baby's a short film. It's about a new father who turns into a baby.
Mm-hmm.
I set out to make a very scary movie. I love scary movies, but I found out while we were shooting it that most people involved in the film thought it was hilarious. And even as I started talking about the project just with that log line, it's about a new father who turns into a baby, the reaction was usually a laugh. So the movie that we have now that's screening is this very strange mix of tension and eerie feeling, but you're very much invited to laugh at this character who's struggling.
So, question, are you upset that it's been kind of switched into more of a comedy and you set out to make it a horror at the beginning? Are you sad about that switch or
No,
frustrated?
I'm definitely more in awe of the
Okay.
filmmakers who make these scary movies that I love, and especially I think the actors who we might think are just doing, uh, a less prestigious project than maybe
Right.
like a drama or something like that. But it's really amazing when you're watching a movie that the performance, you can believe that these people are really scared because
Mm.
I can tell you from my own experience, making a movie is just hanging out with your friends and you're just kind of having a great time. It's hard to pretend that you're terrified.
Well, that's the best. That's actually one of my goals this year. I shot with a lot of people and a lot of commercial stuff. So it's not like hang out with your friends when you do a commercial. So last like housekeeping question for the audience, because I've seen this film and I don't really have these questions, but and I did my research, so I already know the answer. But what inspired Man Baby for the listeners who have not listened to your interviews?
I mean, the shortest answer is just that my wife got pregnant and we had a baby. Um, the, but I think the like bigger answer to it is that that experience was so scary to see um how different the way her experience in a medical environment or in a doctor's office as a pregnant woman and um was in comparison to countless experiences I've had as like just an uninsured white man in a doctor's office.
Oh,
So
okay.
the different ways that our bodies are kind of considered in our culture is like the bigger piece of kind of what inspired the movie and the
Oh.
reason to make a movie about a man's body.
Very interesting. You know what? I didn't know that, so I'm glad I asked. All right, so I did my research, but obviously not enough. Now, in another interview, you mentioned that in your film, a different film, Best Birthday Ever, you gave some actors their roles and you told them to improv their scenes. Did you improv scenes in Man Baby, or did you plan out almost every single word and movement in this film?
Thank you for bringing up best birthday ever.
Is that
of the
bad?
no, just a blast from the past.
Okay.
Um, I I think that yes, we did have things. We did kind of release ourselves from the script at times in while we were shooting. Partly there
Mhm.
were a lot of times where we just like didn't really have time to do the scene in the same way. Um, but also we had a real 4-month-old baby. This is the makeup
Right.
artist baby she brought to set for us and let us film with him. So working with the baby was fascinating because he's like the most amazing actor who's he has no idea really what's going on and is totally unselfconscious being watched. So it was so fun to set the camera and then put him down and just kind of watch and wait for these just really simple pieces of his performance that we needed. And then I would try and figure out some ways to kind of match that. Um, yeah.
Did the baby approve of your craft services? No, I'm just kidding. That's it. All right. Now, I'm a comedian at heart. Now, I'm a licensed makeup artist. I do special effects. It appears, I'm not sure, I was not there, that you wore a prosthetic, a male genitalia piece, one or two. There was one big or normal size. It's subjective, objective, I don't know. And there's a baby size male genitalia to signify that you were turning into a baby. So, what was it like applying and acting with the prosthetics? And basically, you're 100% naked, it seems, in one scene, unless you had a body double that was quite good. So, as an actor myself, I have not been that exposed on set or on camera. Pretty close, but not much. What was that like?
I think that I remember seeing an interview with Lena Dunham where she talked about how they would write episodes of Girls, and but then it was like 6 months away, then they would actually be on set and filming it, and she would
Oh,
realize, oh no, why did I write this for myself? Which was it was very important to me that this movie is about his body changing, so it was important to me that we would see it, at least in the
yeah.
script of it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
um Yeah. I don't want to dwell on it too much. The
Got it.
prosthetic part was
Um,
insane because
right.
this woman, Sierra Griffin, is the makeup artist. And I was telling her about the project months in advance, and she thought it was really interesting. She said, "Oh, Aaron, I'd love to help you out with that." And she also did these little molds for my mouth. We went to a dentist and they like built
Oh,
these molds so that she could make these things to cover up my actual teeth. There's a scene at the end where it's supposed to look
uh-huh.
like he doesn't have teeth.
That looked
Um,
great. My dad's a dentist and I do special effects with him. So,
huh.
yes, we would probably do something like that. Looks awesome and super realistic in the film.
Well, my favorite thing was that in the opening shots, you can see little Leland's mouth, because I hadn't really been around a baby that young before my daughter was born, and but their little sharp gums are kind of scary, I thought. Anyway, so she found this guy here in Montana in Livingston, Bob, who built the prosthetic, who was so excited because no one ever asks him to make a tiny little penis. He just makes like, arms that get chewed up by a wolf or scars or, stuff like that.
Hmm.
And then it was very uncomfortable to put on, but Sierra,
Oh.
you really only see that in that one. There's one shot where we get to see that, which was agonized over how much of it we see or
Oh, right. Which you see a lot. I mean, I didn't zoom in, so you haven't been violated. I watched the film, but I didn't. But there was no zooming action, so I wasn't a creeper. I was very respectful about it, which I usually do when I'm around a naked man. I won't even know what's going on because my eyes are up here. But it looked super authentic from what I
yeah, that's
saw.
what we kind of do with naked male bodies. I'll also say that to me it was important, or it was really interesting to try and think about using nudity in the storytelling where the man's like naked body was completely unsexualized.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
not meant to be um like,
Yeah, it's just
not,
commonplace. You're
yeah.
in the bathroom. That's what
Yeah.
what do you get to wear like a winter coat to go to the bathroom? I don't think so. So anyway, moving on. Now, did you direct this film? Were you the director? Okay, I
Yeah.
thought so. I just wanted to double check on that. So for me, I see film sets as microcosms for the big real world. It's just how I view it. Now, if you can follow along with teams in real life, you might be able to follow a team on a film set and vice versa. And if you can't follow a team in real life, a lot of times you can't follow it on a film set. So, what experiences in real life taught you that you'd be capable as a director of a film set leading teams? Like, how did you know you'd be able to direct, which requires a lot of skills to do it well?
What an interesting question. I think I've dreamed a long time about making movies. I went to film school. I think that, it's so interesting that you asked about that because I remember on the last day of the shoot, this one of the crew members was saying it kind of felt like you weren't really here on set. And I told him that that's exactly kind of what I think the director should do. The
Mm,
director is the like creative through line for the film, but when a director is getting in the way of all these different artists collaborating, then I don't think they're able to help tell the story in the best way. So I mean, especially because I was acting in so much, I was on the other side of the camera in so much of the shoot. I relied so much on Haley. Haley Swain is the DP,
mhm.
and our first AD and producer Jerry Rafter, who are women that I work with here in Montana all the time. Um, so I think, yeah, I mean that part of being the director really is just the culmination of a long journey for me to figure out my voice as an artist, which I think is still very much in process.
And my final question, I'm not going to keep you here forever, respect your time. Now, why make films? There's a lot of sacrifice in producing films with sometimes endless preparation and post-production. So why do it at all? Why make this film? Why make any film?
I I can't really imagine spending my time doing almost anything else. I love the experience of watching movies and the experience of making them. I think when I was a kid, watching movies was such an amazing way to feel like the other people I was watching the movie with were sharing an emotional experience. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm a middle kid. I've always been really sensitive to the idea of like a group dynamic, and film is just this amazing collaborative art form that requires a team of people to try and come together and um, do their jobs, but like in concert with each other. So
Definitely.
it's like, exhilarating to me. It's just the best.
Same. Yeah, teamwork makes the dream work. I did stand up for a bit and I was saying to someone recently how it's like heartwarming and it's just really cool to be on a film set when you have like 6 or 12 people that work so well together and really skilled people. You can come up with so much more than just holding a mic on stage. But that's a different animal and there's different pros and cons. Just one last question. What's the future for Man Baby? What's the future for you?
I mean, I'm so thrilled and so grateful. Man Baby is getting ready to screen in Montana,
Hmm.
in UK, in South Dakota, in Canada. We're going to have our Canadian premiere at the end of October. So it has been a very long, hard road submitting the film to festivals and finding festivals that want to screen. But
Mm,
it's an amazing experience to watch this movie with a new audience of people who don't know me and see their reactions and listen to them laugh is amazing. I'm developing it as a feature. It
oh.
was awarded grant money from the state of Montana. Here is how we funded it mostly. So I would love to participate in the grant pool again and help raise money for a feature version. The feature script is a fairly different scope, but the movie does have this. It was very unexpected, the tone that is so unique in the movie, that blend of suspense and comedy. So I think that's worth exploring in a feature.
Yeah. I definitely think so too. It's definitely interesting and different. And you're in great shape. Got to give you props because we're in a world where a lot of the food is poison. So everybody find out what the heck this guy's eating. He looks super fit. I was a trainer full time before I did any of this, so I have to bring that up. I am always looking at the consciousness of people and how they look and feel. And I do find a correlation with fitness and eating well and being just conscious and directing. But there's also a lot of directors and artists out there that are very unhealthy and they do great work. So it's not a hard rule,
That is so true. That is so
but
true.
it helps.
I thought it was important in the storytelling that was more compelling if this guy took care of his body in a certain way,
Yeah,
that it was more at stake for him to kind of
or
like
lose.
lose it and turn into a baby. So
Exactly.
I don't really look like that all the time. I did work kind of hard in the weeks before the shoot to try and get, but thank you.
Yeah, props for that because that's a body of work. And I've been a body of work and I've been a body of mess. And I appreciate when things work out. Yes. Anyway, on that note, please give our listeners your socials, anything else you'd like them to know, your websites, where to find you, and we'll close out.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm online, aaronmurtagh.com, and you can
Okay.
follow the movie at Man Baby Short Film on Instagram.
And that's
Thank you
it.
so much, Jen.
All right. Thank you so much. Check out this film. It's very interesting. And back to the studio with you, Mark Torres.